What's good everyone, it's your boy yadiiiigg, 4 eyes, 2 G's here, and today we're here to talk about the 2016 XXL class. And I'm not exactly sure what the direction of this video is going to be. All I know is I need to talk about this class and why it's so iconic to me personally. I want to make it clear that there are going to be some hot takes and some very strong opinions in this video, but understand it's all through my lens and my perspective as someone who was a teenager when this list came out, so let's get into it.
They try to take my heart and my soul and then abuse it. They try to steal the flow, make my beats and write my music. And Las Vegas 3, I saw all of you was stupid. And it would never change, I will always be producing. I had to feel the pain, I had to feel it in my damn.
Now, let's take it back to 2016. Hip-hop was about to go through a sea change thanks to the transition of the up-and-coming SoundCloud wave to the mainstream. Although SoundCloud had been popular for a long time, thanks to prolific acts like Young Lean, Suicide Boys, Bones, OG Mako, Father, McCone, Key, etc. However, this newer wave, although clearly inspired by those artists I just mentioned, had a different sound and were more commercially successful. And specifically from this 2016 list, Kodak Black, Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi Vert, and 21 Savage all came from SoundCloud roots and would be ushered in as the next crop of hip-hop stars around this period. And although there are other artists on this list, artists whose music I listen to, artists whose music I respect a lot, someone like Desiigner who I've been listening to since 2013, specifically for the first part of the video, I just want to focus on the 4 artists I just mentioned and this one cypher in particular, because I think it best reflects XXL's embrace of the SoundCloud platform and the SoundCloud wave in 2016. Labeled as mumble rap, the music felt like to me at the time as a disruption to the status quo, and the impact that the popularity that this movement was garnering was inescapable on the internet. Throughout this period, mumble rap was getting a lot of hate, and you couldn't go online without some controversy around it, whether it be something Yachty said, or Uzi said, or some old head giving some ill-informed opinion on their music. However, that was one perspective and one demographic. On the opposing, perhaps more youthful side of the fence was where I resided, and I identified with the music as it felt reinvigorated and different from what I had grown accustomed to. Understand, in the years before 2016, in years like 2012, 13, 14, 15, I very much came from standing ASAP Rocky, standing Kendrick Lamar, standing Mac Miller, standing Bones, Desiigner, Joey Badass, Underachievers, etc. And although I understood that this music now was definitely less lyrical and more surface level, the sound and the aesthetic stood out to me as an exciting direction for internet curated hip hop after the likes of Young Lean, Bones, Lil B, Chief Keef, and ASAP Rocky helped to break the doors down. The beauty of XXL is, as well as a younger generation like myself, it also captures an older audience because of its history and the brand's legacy. And I could just imagine being some 30, 40-year-old person who was used to getting XXL mags back in the day with people like Jay-Z, DMX, etc. And this is what you see as a cypher in 2016. This legendary XXL cypher embodies everything that the SoundCloud era is about. Nonchalant fun that is more concerned with the performance and the theatrics of rapping more so than the art of rapping itself. The greatest part of this cypher wasn't a flow, it wasn't someone's bars, it was a pulsing exuberance that was tangible in the mannerisms, the ad-libs, and the chemistry between the artists.
Put up on your bitch, she suck my dick and then you kissed the just smoke them woods. Yeah. Bitch, I'm from the hood. Yeah.
And this all was a reflection of the emerging trends in the newer generation's approach to music. How Uzi probably put more thought and effort into piecing together his fit than he did his bars. And fittingly for this new internet era where the memification of music was underpinning the success of countless songs, meme culture latched onto this list and helped to spiral its notoriety and popularity. Although definitely not flattering, these memes helped to etch the cypher into popular internet culture and further bolstered its relevance. And guys, before we go on, I want to give a shout out to Marcus_Kane from my Instagram. Thank you for commenting on my recent posts, appreciate that. If you guys haven't, go drop me a follow at yadiiiigg, you guys know what to do. Also, you can see my Cardi and Uzi Trav merch tees on screen right now, link in the description to cop if you're interested, and I'm pumping out the content for y'all, a lot more content on the way. Make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new here, subscribe and turn on notifications, but let's get back to it. However, it wasn't just a list in isolation that made it so iconic, it was the impending career narratives that would develop over the coming months that made people realize the importance of these artists and the gravity of this list. And this is why I think the list in particular is so great and is the best to me personally. It felt like XXL understood the landscape and the change that was underpinning the underground SoundCloud scenes, and was able to handpick the artists who were just on the cusp of having their breakout moments to stardom. Understand that in 2015, there were countless SoundCloud artists who were all coming lineup who all had a bit of buzz and could have been chosen, but not all of them were able to make it through to that next level. In fact, the large majority of them didn't, and although I was still listening to all their music and still listening to people like Uno, Fawny, Lucky, etc., props to XXL for being able to pick so accurately with their choice of SoundCloud based artists, because these four right here were all able to have their glow up year, whilst a lot of artists weren't able to translate to the mainstream in the same way. Specifically in 2016, we saw Yachty go on to take over the mainstream pop world with Broccoli and I Spy, Uzi have his breakout projects and his breakout hits with Money Longer and You Was Right, Kodak have his first bona fide hit with Tunnel Vision, and 21 drop Savage Mode, which is arguably a top 10 SoundCloud project of all time, and also have his first mainstream hits. If none of this happened and none of these artists blew up and took over the scene like they did in 2016, there is no way that this cypher is as iconic or as popular as it is today. And even when you look at the stories of other artists on these lists, they've had huge glow ups. LIl Dicky went on to take over the pop world and now has his own TV show. Denzel Curry has continued to build and continually puts out some of the best music year on year, and Herbo has shown a lot of growth in his music since the early days, and I think PTSD is one of his best projects yet. And also Anderson .Paak and Dave East have had a bit of success, whilst Desiigner unfortunately has probably been the least successful from the list so far. But overall, this cypher right here is the capturing of a moment right before everything changes, and I do not think we're going to see another cypher that impacts and causes as much controversy as this one did. But that's just my opinion. And if you made it to the end of the video, make sure to comment your dig down below. I appreciate everyone else last video who commented and watched the whole thing. Thank you very much. Also, make sure to hit that like button if you haven't, subscribe as well, turn on notifications, @yadiiiigg, follow your boy on Instagram, and there are more videos of mine on screen right now. Make sure to check them out if you haven't.